Okay, so when you've got the calling of God upon your life, when you say to your heart and say, no, God has called me into ministry, there are certain things that have to be done in order for this calling of God to be manifested in your life, in order for you to operate in the office that you're called in, or in order to operate in the gifts of the Spirit that God has invested in you. So the first thing that the calling does in your life is it separates you from the desires of the flesh. That's the first thing. The calling kills you. You'll find out that when you have been called by God, friends will begin to see you boring. Family members will begin to see you boring. Some people will even come out of your life. Maybe your fiance, your husband, your mother, your father, your relatives, your friends. People will begin to separate themselves from you. And some behaviors in your life, they will have to change. When we read the book of 1 Kings chapter 19 verses 19, the calling of Elisha, the Bible says, when Elijah met Elisha, he cast his mantle upon him. And Elisha immediately left what he was doing and he followed Elijah. Without Elijah even preaching to him or telling him to change or to leave what he was doing. No. He killed the oxen, said goodbye to his parents, and he left the farming that he was doing, something that was productive to him. He left it and he followed the calling. So when the calling of God locates you, those things that you feel like they are good in your life, those things that you feel like they are good, they please your body, going to the clubs, drinking alcohol, womanizing, following men up and down, following women up and down, those things that you think like they are good for your life, those things that are pleasing you, they will have to be separated. Those friends that you sit with 24/7 gossiping, to you, it's something that is good, but to the calling of God, it is not good. So it will separate you from some of these things. And there are certain things that you will have to do in order to accept this spirit of change. Because the calling of God can locate you, but if you are not ready to accept this change, it will not operate inside of you. So there are certain things that you will have to do also in order to accept this change in your life. So do follow for part 2. I'm going to preach. I'm going to try to teach you on some of these things that you have to do in order first to accept change. Because when the calling locates you, the first thing is change. If you do not change, the Spirit of God cannot operate inside of you. There are certain things that have to be broken. Friends have to be left behind. Some family members, you have to break relationships. When God called Abraham, he told him to separate with Lot. There are certain things that will have to be separated into your life. So do follow for part 2. I'm going to teach again. We are going to preach on the calling of God on part 2. I'm going to tell you what you have to do in order to accept this spirit of transformation so that you can yield to the calling of God. Shalom and God bless.